Good morning, everybody, and welcome to WellSprings. My name is Melissa, and I'll be leading you solo in song today. Normally I have some helpers, but it'll just be me, so I'm really going to need your help. If you know it, please sing it. So let's start by standing up if you're able. We're going to start with Kind and Generous. Keep on giving for your kindness. I'm in debt to you for your selflessness, my admiration for everything you've done. You know I'm bound how you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. And I never could have come this far without you. For everything you've done, you know I'm bound. I'm bound to thank you for it. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, I want to thank you for so many gifts you gave with love and tenderness. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your generosity, the love and the honesty that you gave me. I want to thank you, show my gratitude, my love and my respect for you. I want to thank you. Oh, I want to thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Good singing, everybody. You can take a seat. So, the next song we're doing, I believe, may have been sung on the very first day of WellSprings. And how old are we now? 18? I think we're 18. This is the first time I've ever led this song. So, I know you know it, so I'm really going to need your help. When I was a girl each week, Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. And everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. I used to see a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. And everything is holy now. shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse, made me wanna bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now. Used to be a word half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Thank you. All right, let's bring up the energy a little bit. I'm gonna have you stand, whether in body or in spirit. This one's got a lot of words, so. Wait, that's not the song. We'll sing the right song, but that's not it. It's Street Corner Symphony. Just go.
All right.
It's morning, I wake up, the taste of summer sweetness on my mind. It's a clear day in this city, let's go dance under the streetlights. All the people in this world, let's come together more than ever. I can feel it, can you feel it? Come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, every different color. Feel that sunshine, telling you to hold tight, things will be alright. Try to find a better life. Come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, there for one another. Come on over, man, I know you wanna let yourself go. Some people, it's a pity, they go all their lives and never know how to love or let love go. But it's alright now, we'll make it through this somehow, and we'll paint the perfect picture. All the colors of this world will come together more than ever. I can feel it, can you feel it? Come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, every different color. Feel that sunshine, telling you to hold tight, things will be alright. Try to find a better life. Come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, there for one another. Feel that sunshine, man, I know you wanna let yourself go. This is the dance break. We may never find our reason to shine, but here and now this is our time. And I may never find the meaning of life, but for this moment I am fine. So come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, every different color. Feel that sunshine, telling you to hold tight, things will be alright. Time to find a better life. Come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, never been a better. Come on over, man, I know you wanna let yourself go on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, we're going on and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, we're going on and on and on and on and on and on. On and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah! 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 made it through. Good job. Have a seat.
Welcome to WellSprings. Melissa, I think you might have some Hamilton lyrics after.
Oh, I'm on. It's so on.
Bell Hall and everyone joining us online this morning. My name is Adam. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm honored and blessed to be leading our worship service today. Each week when we gather, we light a chalice as a symbol of our shared spiritual heritage as Unitarian Universalists. It is not just a symbol of what is past, but what is present. That divine spark, that inner light that shines at the heart of each of our lives. As we light this chalice, may we share our light with each other and with the world. Anyone of any age may sign up to be our chalice lighter. Just use the link at the bottom of the WellSprings weekly newsletter. Today, we've asked the Lawsons, Todd, Amanda, Eliza, and Elena to light our chalice for us this morning. After they have done so, we will say these words on the screen together. And together we say, we light this chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is shared between us and never goes out. Great, thanks. Thank you. Good morning. Our mission here at WellSprings is to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul.
Chicken, banana, chicken, banana, chicken, banana, 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 chicken, banana, chicken, banana, chicken, banana, chicken, banana, chicken, banana, 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 chicken, banana.
Thank you. The Schaffners, we were a little busy since the last time that we saw you. Does anybody remember when summer meant slowing down, taking a break, setting some time aside for yourself? Yeah, me neither. One reason you haven't seen me and my family is because we were fortunate enough to spend a month outside of the United States. Some of you had probably followed along on social media, and if you did, you saw a lot of what we were up to. We were in the mountains of Switzerland, the House of Mouse in Paris, a dream trip to see the Tour de France, exploring England's Jurassic coast, and spending some time in Cambridge. We put together another trip to Europe just a few years ago. While we were traveling just this past month, we kept thinking, why was it so much harder this time? Our kids are a few years older, still 10 and under, and they have a similar trip under their belt, but as far as we can tell, and as far as we can tell, they want to be there. And then it dawned on us, they now have their own personalities. And maybe you're already thinking, duh, of course they do, but a few years ago, they were more than happy to let mom and dad guide them through our explorations, but this year, they have their own thoughts about it. And some of those thoughts included not wanting to do things the way that we had planned. And they were quite a bit less interested in all of the travel time that we and they were spending together. We were already full speed into the adventure, but realized quickly while laying staring at the ceiling one night, tired from exhaustion, that they were not into the constant move and change anymore, or at least they were more vocal about it now than they had ever been. But we had a week and a half, and at least until we were at least settled somewhere on our trip for more than 4 days. So we tried to put a little bit more time in the morning, a few more moments in the pool, decide not to visit a few things, and focus on what they would enjoy at their pace. It included me going to a theme park in Paris one morning by myself. Not what I had envisioned, but you know what? That wasn't a bad change. When we did make it to Lyme Regis on the Jurassic Coast, it was delightful to stay relatively put for about 10 days. At this point, they just wanted the beach, and we were happy to oblige. We wanted to do all the things because we don't know when we're going to get back to these places. Maybe never, but quickly had to learn it's okay to do just some of the things and let them be and let them have their trip too. That video is us. We did Chicken Banana about a dozen or more times in all of the different stops that we did, coordinated by my wife, Tiffany, who was a fantastic social media manager for the family, so we truly appreciate her for that. This morning, I'd like to especially welcome any newcomers. If this is your first or second time with us, we are so glad you're here. You can see any of our belonging team members to help you get connected. To find out where the bathrooms are, or if you just need a friend to sit with, we do have both gendered and gender-neutral bathrooms available. I saw the belonging team doing some great work this morning, but if they just want to raise their hands and make themselves even more known this morning, we would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We do have a virtual connection card available for you to let us know who you are, how to keep in touch, and what we can do to make sure you feel entirely welcome. That's very important to us. Anywhere in this room where you see a QR code, it's a link to the online connection card. And if you're watching from home, there's a link in the description to the video below. Description below the video, excuse me. If anyone would like to interact with folks who are joining online this morning, there's a live chat on YouTube. To access it, you just need your YouTube or Google account. Finally, you can always find more information in today's service, as well as upcoming events and news by scanning the QR code available on the welcome table just in front of the doors as you walk into Bell Hall. Now, for our announcements for this week, I'll turn it over to our Community Engagement Coordinator, Beth Trandle.
Hi, my name is Beth Trandle. What's your name? E?
Yeah.
Ellie?
I.
And this is Ellie Trandle. And we're here with your announcements for today. Over here, you'll find a QR code that you can scan at any point during these announcements for more information. We're looking ahead to the coming year, and we've released our message themes for this year. You can find more information on our website to see what we'll be discussing throughout the year. Reverend Lee will be away on study leave starting this coming Monday and being off for the rest of August. She'll be returning after the Labor Day holiday on September 2nd. During that time, you can reach out to any of the staff members if you need something, and if there is a pastoral emergency, you can reach out to Reverend Lee by her cell phone. Hardwork still has its ongoing Cash for Causes giant grocery gift card program running. You can pay online or write a check, and you will receive a gift card to the giant food stores. 5% of that amount goes towards Heartwork to help support our community. Today's snack is provided by Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. That's all for today. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Great, thank you, Beth, and all the best wishes to Reverend Lee on her study leave. At WellSprings, the foundation of all that we do is rooted in the power of connection, making space in our hearts and our lives for each other. This is the part of the service where we honor that connection by greeting one another. We recognize our community's presence beyond these walls, so feel free to take a moment now, connect and share a greeting in the live chat, or say hello at the WellSprings Oasis or private group on Facebook. For those here in Bell Hall, a reminder to please ask before hugging or approaching closely, and if you prefer to keep distance from others for any reason, just stay seated. That'll be our cue to give you a friendly wave. With gratitude for all the ways that we might connect, please greet one another now. Thank you so much for those warm greetings. For our friends that are here in Bell Hall, we so encourage you to encourage these conversations over some snacks right here in this room after the service. So you do not have to go far. All your pals will be right here for some snacks. Thank you, everybody. Great, thank you so much. I invite you now into our time of generosity, an opportunity to express our gratitude for and the commitment to the ways this spiritual community has an impact on all of our lives. We sustain WellSprings now and into the future through our contributions. If you'd like, you can use your phone from anywhere. Just text WSprings to 73256. It's also easy and convenient to automate your giving on Realm, like I do. Got a question? You can ask me. Our belonging team will be bringing hats around for those who wish to donate by hand, and you can also drop a check or a cash donation into the box near the front doors on the welcome table. Thank you for all the way that your gifts help to sustain WellSprings. Our offering will now be gratefully received. Some harmonica today. All right, let's go. I don't think it's WellSprings appropriate, but hey, if you want to play a little Roadhouse Blues afterwards outside, I'm all ears. I'm just saying. So thank you so much. Having shared energy between us and giving beyond us, let's take some time now to reground into the deep and soulful energy that's within. We do this by doing what is most simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath. Inhaling and exhaling without rush or hurry, breathing in and breathing out. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. Let us cultivate peace and experience presence together. As we move into this time of mindful silence, we follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh. If we want to enter heaven on earth, we need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we are doing, however it is that we are feeling, let us remember that peace and presence are always as close as is our own breath. May this be so for us this moment. May it be so for us this day. And may it be so for all of us in the days to come. Now, I'd like to invite our congregation's children to join our staff and volunteers in the back of the room for their time of fellowship in Youth Spirit. Youth Spirit will be meeting in the library area, across the way. We are across the way in Gresh. Grown-ups, please pick up your children after Youth Spirit, after the service is over. And now, let's join our band for our next song.
Okay, we called an audible today and changed the song real quick. So we won't have the lyrics, but I think you'll know this one, so do sing along. And I have climbed high as a mountain, I have run through the fields only to be with you, only to be with you. And I have run, I have crawled, I have scaled these city walls, these city walls, only to be with you. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And I have kissed honey lips, felt the healing in her fingertips. It burned like fire, this burning desire. And I have spoke with the tongue of the angels. I have held the hand of a devil. It was warm in the night, it was cold as a stone. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I believe in the kingdom come, then all the colors will bleed into one, bleed into one. Well, yes, I'm still running, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
right, good morning, everybody. It is August today, isn't it? Between the humidity and the sleepiness in the air, but we're here. Some of you know that about a year ago now, I was part of a small group of local clergy that pulled together a coalition in our area for people of faith called Love Thy Neighbor Chester County. It's something we built from the ground up, invented, because we felt it was needed. It's a multi-faith project that brings religious people in our area together to support each other and to stand up for the values that we share of diversity, democracy, and humanity. When we see that those values are under threat in our own backyards, we commit to showing up for each other. But I don't know if any of you actually know that there is a subset of that group that has been gathering regularly, specifically representing congregations in our area that are welcoming and affirming of the LGBTQ+ community. We talk together when we get together about how we can support each other, because some of those congregations are at different places along that spectrum of being fully inclusive for all people. And we also talk about how the faith community in our area can show up in public to advocate and to provide spaces of refuge for queer and trans folks in light of what is happening in our country, in light of the actions of the current administration. I've met some really incredible people through that group, including just this week, when a young Baptist preacher in Westchester, new to the area, just a couple years at his church, reached out to me to get coffee. We'd been on some Zoom meetings together, but you know how that is. We never actually had a one-to-one conversation, so you couldn't say we'd really met. His congregation went through their denomination's welcoming program. Yes, there are actually queer-affirming Baptists, not many of them, but they exist. And we had a great conversation. And as we were kind of getting down to the end of our coffees, rattling the ice around in our plastic coffee cups, he asked me a really beautiful question. He said, I really appreciate this work that you all in the area have been putting in to build these multi-faith connections because they'll benefit me, he said, now that I'm here. But he asked me, what is your hope for this work? What's your hope for these next few years for this ministry? And I thought about it and I said, I think my hope is that I want my people to know that they're not alone. And I always want each of my congregants to know that, for any reason. Whenever things in any of our lives, any of your lives, get scary or hard, I want each of you to know that our little community is here for you. But these days, I think we need as much of that as possible, beyond just our own little community. I think these days we all need to know who our friends are. He nodded, my new friend. He felt the same way about his congregation. We build our connections here at WellSprings every August through this annual tradition of ours, this Neighbors and Helpers message series. And we do it here because we believe that our faith teaches us all people are beloved. Every story, every perspective carries a piece of the larger truth that we seek. But in these particular times, I think we also do this because I want us all to know who our friends are. And I want to make sure that each of us, regardless of what we might be struggling with, carrying with us this morning, whatever it is, whatever we might be scared of, whatever we might hope for or long to build in this world around us, I want each one of us to know that we're not alone. So today's Neighbors and Helpers guest is one of those rare, wonderful human beings who saw something that was needed in the world around him and decided, okay, then I'm going to build it. I also got to know our guest today in a roundabout way. I actually first met his wife, Lucy, through that same group, that group for queer and trans-affirming clergy in our area. Lucy's not a clergy person, but she came to one of the events that we hosted. And our guest today, Alex, was also nominated by our Welcoming Congregation team as someone that we should invite to come in for a conversation this year. So we're going to have that conversation today with someone who I hope will be another reminder for all of us, of all the friends that we have out there who we just haven't met yet. So I'm going to invite Alex Stefanini, the founder and director of Arrive Therapy, to the stage, and let's welcome him to our congregation. Welcome, Alex. Do you prefer Alex or Alexander?
Either one's all right.
Okay, is your mic on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Good.
it loud enough?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Thank you for taking the time to join us today and for getting a sitter. I know, that's a big deal. The first question I ask everyone in this series is just because for our congregation, this series is all about getting to know our neighbors. So I always ask everyone to first share a little bit about your connection to the area. Did you grow up in Chester County? How did you come to live in the place that you call home now?
Well, Chester County is kind of a second home to me because I work here and I know so many people in Chester County now, but I actually live in Montgomery County.
Okay.
I live in Conshohocken. And I got a job in Chester County initially and then started just meeting so many people. And as I grew my business, I've just met more and more and more people. So it's kind of like a second home. Yeah.
Are you from this area originally?
I'm not. I'm originally from Tennessee.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty much born and raised in Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you come, not to pry, sorry, I'm just curious. Did you come up here for school or for something else?
No, I didn't. I came to get out of the South.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say I'm a refugee from the South.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. All right. Well, so you founded Arrive in 2019 with the specific purpose of creating a counseling practice that prioritizes the needs of the LGBTQIA plus community. So not simply welcoming and inclusive, but with that community's needs at the center of what you do. Can you say a bit about why you felt that a counseling practice like that was necessary and why you felt like that was your work to do, to create it?
Well, it was really not a master plan that I had. I was a clinical supervisor at another program in Chester County, and when I started my transition in 2018, people started coming to me and asking me to see their trans clients, people that were coming out of residential, so they would have a client that would come out and they would say, can you please see them because I don't know how to help them. At the time, I had really no training in it. I had never taken gender studies classes. I was just didn't really know, so I was like, okay, I know more than somebody who knows nothing about trans people, so I was like, all right, I'll give this a shot. And it just was a really, really nice intersection between, I had always been a family therapist. I had always worked with people in their family systems. And when a person is transitioning, it really does involve their whole community, involves their family. So I also always worked with teens. And so we do a lot of work with teens and families in counseling. So as I just kind of looked around and I saw there was nobody in Chester County. There were no trans counselors in Chester County. And just started seeing people because I was being asked to see people. And then I got really full and I thought, well, there's more need. And then every time we get full, we just keep adding more therapists. So all of our therapists are LGBTQ. Many of them are gender diverse or trans.
Yeah. And how many therapists are in your practice?
There's 13 now.
I thought so, yeah, it's huge. And that's 6 years of growth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we just grow as the need's there. So there's no real master plan to be a certain size or,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I should mention at the end of our conversation, I have a couple more questions, but I'm going to invite anybody who's here, if you have a question, start thinking about it now because we'll have space for Alex. And Lucy has also graciously offered to check our chat. So if anybody is watching online or watching from home and you have a question, you can always type it into the chat at any time. And when it's time, we'll make sure that it's asked here in the room. So in addition to providing therapeutic services, Arrive offers a bunch of other community resources. So on your website, there are lists of local queer and trans-friendly social groups, queer-friendly churches in the area. We're on that list. Thank you, Welcoming Congregation team, for making that happen. There's lists of books and media, resources for clothing retailers, all kinds of things. And then you also go out into the community yourself to provide trainings for schools and employers in our area. So I was reading the training descriptions, and there was something that caught my eye in one of them, a quote here. You said that coming out and living your life authentically is the right decision for most people, and that damaging myths around trans life and trans joy can hold us back in all aspects of our life. I think that quote spoke to me. The phrase trans joy jumps out at me because I think, especially right now when we are watching the news and we're hearing about what's happening to gender diverse communities, it's not a lot of joy, it's a lot of threat and a lot of fear. And it spoke to me as a minister because I know I have trans members of my congregation who I try to support, as well as trans loved ones in my personal life, people I know, who live in this sort of sometimes painful tension between fear and joy, between the joy of being who they are and the fear of how they are received by many in the wider world. That experience of living authentically as a trans person, particularly in this moment in America, is complicated, I imagine. So could you say a little bit more about what that quote means to you? Do you want me to read it again? Especially right now?
No,
Okay,
it's
go for
okay.
it.
I'm going to go back to a little bit about going out into the community and doing, trainings and health fairs and going into schools. As part of Arrive Therapy, one of the things that I really want to do is be not just, a company that does counseling work, but to help others, be able to be comfortable with the trans community, with the queer community, and a lot of times that just involves somebody interacting with us, right? Just getting a little bit more information. So I feel like even, another counseling program, counseling company, if I go in and I just give them a little bit more information, I share with them how they can interact with trans folks in a way that's comfortable for us, we're not ever going to be able to see everybody. So I want to create other spaces, help churches, help counseling programs to also be kind of safe spaces.
Yeah.
So that's part of why we do that. Yeah. So as far as the quote, I think that a lot of people who maybe have never had a trans person in their life that don't really know a whole lot about the trans experience feel like it might be difficult to understand, why does a person need to come out? Why does a person need to transition? Why do they need to do all this stuff? And what I think of is that the thing that we can all relate to, I think, is wanting to be seen, wanting to be known, wanting to be heard, and wanting other people to just accept us for who we are. It could be our parents want us to be a doctor and we really want to be a musician, right? And it's like this pain that we carry because we're not able to be ourselves, or there's lots of other ways, right, that people experience that. And at the end of the day, I think the trans journey is really about it's arriving in your life, it's arriving in your community, it's being yourself, it's being known, being seen. And that's just a fundamental kind of need that we have as humans. So I think that all the negative narrative makes it harder for people just to show up and experience that when they're wanting to be themselves, when they're kind of going through their gender journey. And I think that, at Arrive Therapy, we do really help a lot of people right at that beginning stages where they're really scared and they have a lot of the same narrative that people who are not trans have, right? That this is going to be horrible and I'm going to get fired and I'm not going to be safe and nobody's going to love me. I'm never going to have a partner, all those kind of things. And when we really help the person focus on the joy of just arriving, just showing up, being known, being able to connect with people, a lot of that fear kind of goes away. It's not that none of that is rooted in some pieces of reality, but the more that a trans person can show up confidently and joyfully in their life, the more other people around them kind of see it and they get it, and people are not... I notice that often there's a disconnect between what people might believe in their head. They believe, all these different things about trans or queer folks, and then when they actually know the person and they see their journey and they see how the person blossoms as they're transitioning, it's like none of what they've been believing makes any sense anymore. Right? And so it's almost like sometimes people hold these beliefs and then the reality of that is not true. And there really is a lot of joy to when people transition, to finding themselves, to, I was talking to a client the other day who had done something in their journey, and I think it was like wearing some clothes at home with their spouse. And I was listening to them and I said, that's gender euphoria. That's joy. What you're experiencing is a joy that you've never experienced. And it's something that I think that most people just take for granted, that they wake up and they are who they are, and they can put on clothes that feel good to them. So there's a whole, I think that if we can shift our mindset to, this is not just like a trans person doing something that's weird. It's like, this is a person finding themselves. This is a person expressing themselves and coming into their own, the fullness of who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminded me briefly of a story. I volunteer on a board of a foundation in Phoenixville, and one of the things that they have me do as the resident minister in the room, as the resident feelings person in the room, is do icebreaker questions. They're more than icebreakers, really. They're designed to like help people share their stories and get at some of the diversity in the room in our board meetings. And we tried to align them with different topics. And so during Pride Month, I wanted to do something that would help people think about gender. As far as I know, nobody in that room is trans. But I asked them, I explained kind of this concept of gender euphoria. And I said, it's not, I don't want to say it's exactly the same kind of experience, but think about a time in your life when you might have experienced gender euphoria. Maybe when you were growing up, you got that first twirly dress and you spun around in the room, you know, in the mirror. Or maybe your dad taught you to shave for the first time. Like, that was something that was important to you in your identity and related to your gender. You know, again, it's not going to be the same as someone who feels like they have to take a risk to show up in the gender that feels right to them. But even when your gender matches what you were assigned at birth, you have those feelings. You know, you might experience joy about your gender. You might just not really think consciously about your gender, but it's there, and it's a big part of who we all are, so, yeah. All right, I have a question.
Does anybody have any questions?
I have, if anybody has a question, we can interrupt, because I have two more, but we can go now. Does anybody have anything they want to ask? Yeah, Kathy? Sure. Go ahead. Mike has a mic.
Thanks. Thank you for coming, and thank you for building what you've built for families like my own. Thank you. I want to ask if you can share a little bit about how the transition journey is about more than just the person transitioning, how it's really a family affair, and what that looks like or feels like, how people engaged in, people in a family where someone's engaged in a transition may find themselves feeling or needing to participate or needing to come out over and over and over again on behalf of their family member. Can you talk a little bit about how that shows up in families who come to you for support?
Yeah, it's a big question for sure. What I always say is that, nobody can transition in isolation. Like, it's just not a possibility. We're social creatures. A lot of even the individuals transition, whether the person's non-binary, whether they're, trans-masculine or feminine. Like, a person really can't do it just sitting in their bedroom, right? Like, by themselves. So much of how we experience ourselves as gendered individuals is through our interactions with other people. And so, particularly when you're talking about relationships and intimate relationships, family members, for our family to continue to be in our lives, they really have to make some changes. And, like, one thought that comes to mind for me is, like, my own life with my two brothers. I was their only sister at one point, right? I didn't transition until my 30s. And there was, at a certain point, there was a moment when I realized that they were treating me like their brother now, right? And it was like a different dynamic, even though they had been supported from the beginning. There was just a shift with the three of us hanging out as brothers. And so I think it takes time with families, and I think typically parents are the people that have the hardest time, right? They have the most investment. Usually siblings are like, okay, do whatever you want to do. That's usually what I hear. I think a lot of times parents worry about, the siblings are going to have a hard time. Younger siblings are going to be confused. And I really can't think of an instance where I've ever really seen that. Most of the time, siblings are pretty chill. So it's often parents, and I think parents really need a lot of support. I mean, it's one of the things that I love doing is working with parents. We get a lot of parents who have young adults who've gone off to college or they're early in their careers. And so the parent has zero control of what they're doing, whether they're taking hormones or changing what their, name, and, they can do all that legally. So in a way, it's kind of interesting because when your teenager, your child does that, you really have no control anyway. It's like parents have the illusion that they're going to be able to control what's happening with their kid. But, right? But when they are young adults, it's very clear the parent has no control. And so they come in and I work with them. And I really see I've kind of come to identify it as like a process that's pretty predictable in many ways. It's usually like initially shock and fear, and then it moves into kind of questioning, sometimes some anger. Almost you think a little bit like a grief cycle. But when a family comes and works with me and I'm able to really move them through that, it moves pretty quickly. People are able to get the information that they need. They're able to, I really love holding space for them. People will say, like, I don't want to offend you. And I'm like, you can't offend me. This is what you're here for. It's like to say whatever you need to say. And so I also work with the trans person to really understand that their family they need time. They need time to get the information themselves, to go through their own feelings, sometimes a feeling of loss of the person that they knew, that they thought they knew. And then when parents in particular get through that part of it, what I love is seeing them really become like protectors and allies, and they're the best allies. They're the best protectors of their kids, and they're the people that are out there really working to make the world a better place for their kid. And so it really is kind of like a big arc. And in many ways, I also see parents then open their eyes to other people in the world who are experiencing marginalization, whether it's people of color or people with disabilities that they were never really aware of. So I see this really beautiful evolution of family members when they have a trans person in their life. It's almost like their eyes like widen, they see the world differently. So, does that answer your question? Yeah.
It makes sense to me what you describe, Alex. In ministry also, oftentimes people are going through changes of any kind in their life, and they can experience grief and those stages of grief, even if the change is positive, even sometimes if they asked for the change. Because whenever we have a change, we're losing something. And those feelings of grief, even if they're something that we intend or something that we're happy for someone else about, we have to move through them usually. We have to take some time with them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm able to point out to parents that, the grief is really about something they thought they had, right? And that they'll feel that they're losing their kid, and I'll really challenge them on that, and I'll say, really, you're gaining your child. Like, you are learning who your kid really is.
Yeah.
And we don't really know. I think as parents, I'm a parent of 2 kids, I think we know who our kids are. And then they tell us, who they are when they get old enough to be able to say that, right?
They have opinions on travel trips.
And we don't,
right?
we don't always love it. I don't love my 13-year-old's hobbies sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just not what I would choose. But it's like a small thing. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
they just are who they are. So.
Yeah. Anybody else have a question?
Hi. I'm going to apologize because this is going to get a little dark. But so there's a unique rhetoric going on right now in society or our U.S. Culture that calls trans people or people with different gender ideology groomers and worse words. And I've been, the victim of that personally as somebody who's queer who has worked with children. I've seen local Moms for Liberty group try to get anybody fired for wearing clothes of a different gender norm. If they work with children, that kind of thing. And I'm just wondering how you recommend coping with that and how allies can help support people with that kind of rhetoric, because it is so detrimental and harmful. It's not just about, oh, you're doing something I don't like or I don't understand. It's creating false rhetoric that's can ruin lives. So, I think
a systems issue where people are getting fired, like that's a whole other kind of conversation. Like, I don't know if you can always change those things. Sometimes there's things as individuals you can't change. But I would encourage just one-on-one conversations. I think we really change people's hearts and minds through one-on-one conversations and through people connecting to like the humanity of who others are that they maybe don't understand. So, you know, I've said this before that like when people don't like trans people or they're angry or they want to get rid of us, it's because they're scared, right? They don't know us, they don't understand us. If they did, they wouldn't be scared because there's nothing to be scared of. So I think that talking with people one-on-one and supporting them, expressing your support for those around you. I mean, I think if it's in an organization, sometimes there are things that you can do. If there are vocal people in a company that really support trans and gender diverse folks in the company, I think you can express that support directly to your leadership, to HR. I can't speak for how far that will go or what kind of impact that would have, but I think that that's one thing you can certainly do is stand up and speak out. Yeah. And sometimes it's just tough situations that we're not always in control of.
Something that allies can do as well, of course. Right. Is if you're working in a... Oh, there it goes. If you're working in an organization, if you're part of a school group, if you're part of a social group even, and maybe it doesn't affect you directly, this issue in this conversation, but you're speaking up. I think sometimes folks who feel like they're allies struggle with feeling like virtue signaling, right? Like, well, why would I put that button on my bag and wear it everywhere? Or why would I say something when it doesn't affect me? I'm just going to look like I'm jumping on a bandwagon or something. You are speaking, you don't know who you're talking to. And you might be speaking to somebody who really needs to hear it. Or you might be speaking to somebody who has someone in their life who really needs to learn. So whenever you speak up, you are often doing more than you realize you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the voices of allies are really powerful, are really important, right? Like if I speak on a trans issue, if I go to HR and I speak on a trans issue, like I have a reason for speaking on this, right? Like it could be like, oh, well, I'm very biased on this issue. I mean, of course, I'm very biased on this issue. But if you're like an ally, sometimes your voice is actually stronger and is almost can be valued more for right or wrong. And so I think there's a lot of power in being not part of a community and really speaking out. I think also I know in particular for folks who are early in their transition that feel really vulnerable, they're really looking for those people that whether it's like they have a button on their sticker, on their shirt, or they have pronouns in their emails or whatever it is, like they're really looking for those people. And those people, even if they might never come out to you, they might never say anything to you directly, they feel better in their workspace because they saw you had your pronouns in your email. Or because you said something when somebody was saying something maybe, you know, at the lunch table that wasn't very kind towards trans people and you just sort of like either stopped it or interjected with something. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucy, are you able to see if there's any questions in the chat? Okay. If anybody at home wants to ask a question, now's the time. Does anybody else in the room have a question for Alex? Yeah, go ahead, Todd. Hold on. Mike's going to bring you the microphone.
It's the runner.
Well, don't yell yet. Okay, all right. Hey, hi. Pastor Lee, we went to the workshop over at People's Light. I went there to kind of learn a little bit more and try to be an ally a little bit better. One of the things that I learned about was gender-affirming care and how inexpensive it is compared to what the political folks want to tell you. And now with that landscape, is it harder to get now? Are there more? I mean, you're saying you're growing, right? This therapy is growing, but is what we're being told, you know, misinformation, things of that nature, can people still get what they need and get help?
Well, right now our country is becoming like 50 different countries for trans people. Each state is entirely different in what you can access and what you need to do to be able to access it and what insurance will pay for it, all those kind of things. Pennsylvania hasn't changed that much. There has been some changes, like some doctors have stopped doing gender affirming surgeries on kids between 17 and 19 or 21 now. We've had some surgeries that have been canceled. They were never doing it on anybody under 17, right? But so that has happened some. I haven't seen a huge change yet here. So we've been very fortunate for the most part. CHOP is still doing, their gender clinic. They're still doing hormones and gender blockers and that kind of stuff, but it could kind of change at any moment. And there are a few doctors who are still doing surgery on folks kind of like 17 to 19. Yeah. So it's not too bad here right now. But in other states, it's dramatically different. In other states, care has been completely taken away. So we've been very fortunate so far. But it could change. Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, in a lot of the states where it's been stopped completely, there has been legislation that's been introduced that makes it sort of like essentially like criminal or not allowed for doctors. I know what happened at Penn. Penn is one of the main people that stopped doing, gender affirming surgeries. And that was because they receive a lot of federal money. There's a lot of money that they receive. And so that money was being threatened directly. Like they were being, contacted and it was being threatened. And so, they decided that wasn't worth it. That's sort of what I've heard. Yeah.
So voting for your state level legislators is really important when it comes to protecting access.
We're basically protected right now because of who's in office in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And it's not that in Pennsylvania anti-trans laws are not being introduced, because they are, but they're just not getting anywhere. And so if that changes, then that legislation will move forward. So
I know we're running a little long today, and I appreciate your patience. I'm going to see if there's time for one more question, if anybody has one. Was there somebody online?
Didn't understand.
I think from what you're asking, I know your story of your family too. You have some Christian relatives who believe that gender, sexuality is all in your head, and that so do you run into folks with family who have that kind of a faith background?
I would say not that much at Arrive Therapy, because the people that come to us, they know that we're gender affirming. We still get parents who want it to change, that are hoping it will change, but we don't get the more extreme families that have the more extreme negative beliefs. We every once in a while do, because we'll have like a parent who brings a kid in, and then the other parent isn't affirming at all, and we'll get a little bit of that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, not. But I know that is a thing that people really believe, I mean, the thing I'm thinking as you're thinking about, it's all in your mind, and you could just change it if you want to, and you'll grow out of it. I don't know, just like wake up and try being the other gender. I don't know, just try it. Like, see if you can. I don't know, if you like men, wake up and try thinking about now making yourself like women. I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you'll get over it. Maybe you'll maybe you'll feel like a dude tomorrow if you try. I don't know.
A good argument. My last question for you relates to some of what we've been talking about, and I'll do the short version of it, which is just, I know there is a lot going on these days in our world, in our country, and one of the debates I see people having is sometimes, is it worth it to try to change people's minds? Is it worth it to try to educate people, especially around these topics and these communities and what they're facing? Or should we just focus our energy on supporting people who are under threat? And I wonder how you think about that, and if you think it's an either or. Like, is that, in terms of especially advice to allies, but also folks within the queer and trans community for how we show up for each other, is it a different answer? That question of like, do we try to change people and how they see things, or do we just provide support?
I think that's a very individual question, and for each person it should be different, right? Like if you feel really good when you debate somebody and you feel like you get somewhere and that energizes you and it feels like it's good for them and good for you, then do that and keep doing that. If you really like just being an ally that, does more supportive things for the trans and queer community, then do that. And I always encourage people, just find a thing that you're good at, that you like to do, and there's always going to be a place you can plug in, right? Like if you're an accountant, one of these nonprofits needs an accountant on their board, right? Like if you are an attorney or you are an artist, there's always something that you can take that you're good at, that you like to do, and plug it into a group that somebody, like you don't have to create the wheel. Just like plug into somewhere that's already doing it.
Yeah. That's great advice, because it also, instead of putting the onus on, oh, I'm doing the right thing to be the right kind of ally, it's doing the thing that feeds you so that you'll stay in it. Yeah.
For sure.
Rather than tire yourself out. All right. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to be here
welcome.
today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. And I think Alex, hopefully, and Lucy, I know that they're going to stick around for a little while, actually, because they have a table outside, right, with some materials about Arrive Therapy, some postcards that also just have tips for how to support your trans students in schools, your trans children, if you have them in your family or in your community. So definitely hang out by the table, and Alex and Lucy will be happy to talk to you after the service. I'm going to invite the band to join me back up on stage for our last song. And as they are making their way up here, I invite you all to join me in the spirit of prayer. God, who knows and sees us, giver of the life that we have, the day that we woke up to, the body that we are in, the spirit that carries us through. May we trust that we are who we are supposed to be. May we trust that the calling that you have put in each of our hearts, even if it takes a long time to discover it, to let it unfold, even if it takes a lifetime, that is good and worthy work. That being who we are and taking joy in our days, even when the world around us is hard. That it is always good to do the thing that sustains us. That it is always good to do the thing that protects our lives and our hearts and keeps us waking up another day. So may we feel a dose of that joy in this moment and in the days to come. For these prayers that I've spoken out loud and for the prayers that each one of us is carrying silently on our hearts today, we say amen.
Body or in spirit. Times like these, we need to be strong. We need to carry on. We need to get along, hold on, and right what's wrong. In times like these, we need to find a way to make a better day. Keep my feet on the ground, turn it around, come what may. And everybody needs someone they can lean on. And everybody needs to lean on someone. And everybody needs someone they they can lean on. And everybody needs to lean on someone. In times like these, there's no one not to care. No, there's no one anywhere who doesn't feel it in their hearts. Gotta make a new start, y'all. In times like these, let the world understand. Together, hand in hand. Well, every woman, child, and man, united we stand. And everybody needs someone they can lean on. And everybody needs to lean on someone. And everybody needs someone they can lean on. Everybody needs to lean on someone. And everybody needs something. Everybody needs someone. Everybody has a friend of a friend who knew a friend of a friend who got a friend of a friend. Everybody needs something, and everybody needs someone. Everybody's got a friend of a friend who knew a friend of a friend who's got a friend of a friend. And everybody needs someone they can lean on. Everybody needs to lean on someone. Everybody needs someone they can lean on. Everybody needs to lean on someone.
This light may go out, but the source that sparked it stays within each of us. And together we say, as we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, and to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. Friends, words like delight and compassion sometimes feel far away these days. May we remember that there is a source for them that is within us, and if we can't see it, maybe look around for somebody else, because it might be shining out from them. Let's put our hands together one more time. Guys, take us out.